Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to continue our What Do You Want to Learn unit. And today we're going to learn about three things. So you had questions about why do people laugh, what is a hiccup, and what is a yawn, and why do we do it? So let's talk about it. They were all three great questions, and they're some pretty interesting answers. So the most obvious answer would be, so why do people laugh? People say, well, I laugh when things are funny. It's actually that's actually funny in and of itself because that's actually not true. So, in researching laughter, they say that laughter predated speech by about 1 million years. So, it was a very easy way to communicate. So, if you think about a young baby, they laugh within the first week or so, or first couple weeks, and that's their way of communicating. And before language was really created, people would just kind of laugh back and forth at each other, which seems kind of silly today, but this was a long time ago. In fact, scientists say that only 10 to 20% of laughter is in response to something funny. So they say it's instinctual. So what that means is it's just something that we naturally do. It's in our instincts. It's just an automatic reaction. Like the way a doctor hits below your knee and your foot kicks up, laughter oftentimes is just a reaction. So, um, one other thing about laughter that is very common is that it's contagious. So when you hear somebody else laughing, you are more likely to laugh. So if we were in class right now and I would start to giggle, without a doubt, a couple of you are going to giggle, and then a couple other people giggle because somebody else is giggling, and then by the end of it, everybody's laughing. Okay, it's hard to kind of simulate that behind a couple computer screens, but it's true. And the reason that some TV shows, what they do is they're not actually filmed in front of a live audience, but they'll say a joke and then they'll put laughter, like a laugh track on there to kind of cue you to laugh at the jokes. And it's funny that if you look at some cartoons or some sitcoms, and if you do it without the laugh track behind, a lot of the jokes are a lot less funny. Okay? Um, but laughter, believe it or not, is actually healthy. Okay? So they say that smiling and laughing actually relieves a lot of stress. So, although it might be instinctual and only 20% of the stuff you laugh at is funny, it's actually good for you. Okay? And dying laughing, okay? Has anybody ever heard that before? That's a phrase that is oftentimes used. Um, and it's kind of funny to say because it burns a lot of calories to laugh. And they were saying like there used to be something called tickle torturing, and when somebody's in that heightened laughing state, it could said to be a form of torture. So dying laughing actually has some factual basis to it. Okay, so that's your mini lesson on laughing. Let's move on. You guys were curious as to what a hiccup is. A hiccup's a little bit easier to answer. So what a hiccup is, it's just an involuntary, so something you can't control, spasm. So kind of like a muscle cramp of your diaphragm. Okay. So your diaphragm is actually the muscle that is in charge of pulling your lungs down and then pushing on them to exhale air. So what happens is that that's has like a muscle cramp or a muscle spasm, and it starts to kind of clench in on itself and causes a hiccup. And that it also is a sudden closure of your glottis. Okay, so the thing that covers up your windpipe and your esophagus, where the food goes in, that suddenly closes, and that's how you get a hic, that hic sound of a hiccup. And extra air goes into the lungs. So they don't know exactly why hiccups occur, but some potential causes that people theorize about is maybe it might be a result of eating spicy food, maybe gas in the stomach, also carbonated drinks. So kind of that gas is a common theme when it comes to hiccups. Then finally, what is a yawn? Okay, another really great question, and it's such a great question that I don't have an answer for you. So what it is, well, I know what it is, but I can't tell you why it happens. So it's a simultaneous inhalation of ear and stretching of your eardrums. Okay, so um, it's basically your body. You know what a yawn is. You go, "Ugh." So it's that stretching of the inner ear and eardrums, and it just results in the mouth opening as well. Why do we do it? We're not sure. Some hypotheses are that you need to get carbon dioxide out of the body, and a yawn helps that occur. Some say it might be controlling brain temperature. Some say it's caused by hormones. We really don't know. And there's a video that I want you guys to watch after this that is a mystery science talking about yawning, and they don't have many more answers than I do. Is it contagious? Yes, it is. So when you see somebody yawn, you're more likely to yawn. Okay. And take a look at when you're taking notice of when you're watching the mystery science lesson and watching the animals yawn and watching the people yawn. Take note to see if you yawn as well. I know I did. I actually yawned about 5 or 6 times when watching this video. That's not that long. Um, so why is it contagious? We're not really sure. People say that it's a herd theory, and that what that means is like you see somebody else doing something, and your body just instinctually feels more comfortable doing that same thing that somebody else does. It's kind of like cliques in schools where everybody kind of acts the same. They're saying that yawning is just a very, very basic instinctual form of that. Um, or maybe it's a social bonding thing. They're really not sure. These are just some terms that people try to prove, that I figured I'd let you know about. And why do your eyes water during a yawn? Again, not exactly sure of that reason why. I'm assuming that it's all the interconnectedness of your senses up by your face and head and skull and things like that. But again, that's just my theory on it. Okay, so I hope you guys learned some stuff. All right, I appreciate all the questions. I learned a lot from the questions that you guys asked. Take a look at that video that I also put in the supplementary stuff to this lesson, and maybe you get a couple more answers. All right, it's a pretty cool video. I think you'll like it. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have a great week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon.